You're listening to Filling the Storehouse podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Stuart. And we want to walk with you on the journey to living the abundant life through faith, family, and freedom. Our goal is to refine our why while helping you find yours. Together, achieve our best and highest purpose. In the end, we'll drive each other to intentionally fill our storehouse.
Hey, friend.
What's up, Stu? How you doing, buddy?
Amazing. Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
Radical.
Perfect. Wow. That's strong.
I mean,
that's good.
Perfect for like right this instant, like right now.
This moment.
Yeah.
This moment. You know, it's interesting. I had a very unique experience. So when you talk about perfect, and this was something I hadn't experienced before. And I remember exactly where I was. I told you this already, but I was at my sink doing dishes, and I was looking outside. It was kind of it wasn't night. It was midday, or maybe it was a weekend. I don't remember exactly why, but the sun was up, and I looked outside, beautiful day. And something crossed my mind, and I literally said out loud, I was by myself, and I was like, man, I love my life. And I don't know where it came from, right? I just said, I love my life. And then as I'm washing dishes.
While you're doing dishes?
Yeah. While I was doing dishes.
I mean,
dishes are comforting to me. I enjoy hand washing dishes. My wife is like, just put them in the dishwasher. I'm like, no, I enjoy that. I enjoy folding clothes. I enjoy a lot of mowing the lawn, things where I just sit there and think, listen to podcasts, whatever.
I wash the dishes with hand and then put them in the dishwasher. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's what I do.
That makes no sense.
Yeah,
that makes no sense at all. No. By the time I'm done hand washing them, they're like freaking sparkle. Erica's like, you do that way too aggressively. Because there have been times when dishes fly out of my hands. Like I put so much pressure and it slips, and mostly usually when they're plastic, thank goodness. But there've been a few glasses casualties.
Nice.
But anyways, the point to all that, and I was unsure in the moment why I was struck by that thought. And so I just started thinking about, I'm like, what would make me feel that way? And it was curious because, we're not, one of the first things that hit me was financially, because you and I are not currently, I wouldn't say that we're absolutely blessed, and the businesses we built some of the older businesses we built are providing right now, but we're by no means are we like, I wouldn't say that we are just absolutely crushing it financially, right? There was some concerns, some worries as we were tired, and I think that financial part was interesting. It had no bearing on my feeling. What it was, as I thought about it, it was one, the time that we've been intentional with and what we're doing with it. And I started thinking about our relationship. I think I had gone fishing that morning. And so I was thinking about, the opportunity to go fish early, come back. Actually, that was a great day. I went fishing, came back, you and I met up, we did work through Mastermind stuff. And then we went for a hike. I think it was that day. We went for a hike, spent time together, which was awesome. Laughing, joking, but also talking about the Mastermind. And then I was thinking forward to, this was before our first in-person retreat. And I was thinking about that. And I was just thinking about all the things that we were doing and the relationships that I have and my family, my kids, my wife, and just the intentionality going into those things. And I've never felt that I've had the capacity to be super intentional in all those areas. And it just really hit me that the intentionality, not that all those things are going amazingly, but I'm very intentional to try to get them on the path to being more amazing. And it just gave me pause.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing traction in the direction of positive growth, in the direction of where you want your life to be. Like you and I went through this practice of creating a life vision for ourselves. And we're actually going to go speak to this group about that a little bit, and how our military lives have transcribed into where we are now, and you're starting to see like the fruits of your labor, right? You see some of the stuff come to fruition, and we've been really focused on where our time is spent. And you're right, man. It's freaking awesome. Like, it's awesome to be able to take our kids to school and pick them up from school and coach, flag football and, soccer and, lead our family and, be there, right? Like the most important thing that we could do is to show up, right?
100%, man. 100%. And I think that, we're reading a book. We read a couple books recently, but we read one by Billy Baker, Let's Hang Out. And in it, he was talking to a Yale psychologist that was offering some, super, super popular class. And he told her, like, he has a bunch of data on loneliness and hanging out and all this kind of stuff. And he told her, he goes, well, knowing is half the battle. And she's like, no, it's not. It is not half the battle. Knowing is nothing. It's showing up. And I was like, because I was just like, oh, it's pretty cool, man. That's, it's not about what you know. It's not about the data that's available, because we have more than that than has ever been accessible in the history of the world.
Yeah.
Right at our fingertips.
Well, but, our last podcast guest, Lenore Skenazy, she kind of called us out. She's like, yeah, you're both nodding your heads right now, saying that this is an issue and saying that we need to make a change, but nothing's going to happen unless you show up and you actually like do something about it, right? Like, you have to get parent involvement, you have to get educator involvement, school involvement to make a change in where the direction is heading for these children.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of time the data, because there's so much and it's so ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. You could get on your cell phone, get on your laptop. You can access, hey Siri, what's what is whatever. Hey Alexa, tell me what, the answer to this question. And the data is so prevalent. And yet we have more anxiety. We have less people showing up. We have less relationships. We have more depression, more suicide, more, the loneliness is, people in some of the books that the authors we've been talking to, they call it an epidemic, a loneliness epidemic, like COVID, basically loneliness, COVID. And there's these things that are very, very serious, and the impacts, which also you could look up the impacts of loneliness. You can ask Alexa and she'll tell you the obesity and diabetes and early death and this and that and the other. And you start talking about blue zones and these things that we've started, researching. Oh, by the way, I'm moving to Costa Rica. I don't know if I told you that.
To be, you did not tell me that.
No, I didn't. No, I just told you just now. I haven't told Erica yet either. So,
okay. She's gonna be.
She listens to this. Yeah, she's gonna be surprised as well.
He doesn't listen to our podcast, so it doesn't matter.
She doesn't listen to our podcast. It's fine, unless she's a featured guest. But it's interesting that where you see, like, for the blue zone is a great example. Why is it a blue zone? Why are these areas blue zones? It's because people show up. Is because they're doing something, right? They're getting together. They're addressing issues through action, not through research. And even in the research, or I'm sorry, when you have all this data about kids getting snatched and kidnapping and all this news and all the negativity hitting you, it actually paralyzes you from even showing up. And it gets you further and further in a hole so that you almost can't show up because you're too afraid to show up. And a lot of times these fears are so off base because of how much information you have. And oftentimes that information is not even right, that you can't even show up. And so you're in this hole, and the problem gets, instead of getting better with the data, it actually gets worse and worse and worse.
So we've been talking about showing up a whole lot. So what? Like, what does that really mean? And how do we practically show up? What happened just recently where some men showed up and had an amazing experience, or at least I did.
Oh, dude, I think everybody did. Not I think everybody. I can say emphatically and without hesitation, every dude that showed up had an amazing time.
Yeah.
And actually, most of them left saying, "Hey, when's the next one?" And we're like, we haven't planned it. We probably need to get on that because, and what I envision for the mastermind there's two elements of it. Well, there's multiple elements of it, but there's two primary things. One, people are showing up to the Zooms. And why are they doing that? Well, I think the specificity of the curriculum we're running through, and the intentionality of the conversations, and the honest and vulnerable nature of that group and that gathering, and reading some of these books also kind of gave me context that I knew was happening, but I didn't, like even when Billy Baker talks about, he got in front of that group of men and he said, man, I'm gonna be vulnerable. And he said, hey, you guys are here because I like you, because I think you're good dudes and I want to spend more time with you. He said to get to that point was very vulnerable for him. And I could see that, right? And you can see that. But what's interesting is he said the data, back to the data, shows that if people know you like them, they're gonna want to be friends with you even more. Like it's a lot of times it's about us, right? Like if I know you like me and you think I'm funny, like of course I want to hang out with you because you laugh at my jokes. But if you're like, goody, kind of whatever, then I'm gonna be kind of like whatever to that relationship, right? So in the mastermind, these dudes have been extremely vulnerable and they show up and they're honest. They're having very meaningful conversation. So they've been showing up every week to the Zoom calls, and it's been life-changing. That has been life-changing. But then you get the glue of the experience and the in-person, right? You show up and you do hard things together. You have ample time. You're out in the mountains with just the dudes. You hang out. You have amazing conversation. You laugh, maybe crack a couple beers together. You eat, you break bread, have some meaningful time. We brought in a guest speaker that was very informative. And then we went outside, dude. We went outside and went on hard hikes. We jumped in.
Freezing cold water.
Freezing cold ocean. Mountain lakes. I'm sorry. There was not an ocean at the top of the mountain. These mountain lakes, beautiful. And then we jump in there, laughing. One dude jumps in naked.
Yeah.
which is
I wish that wouldn't have happened, but oh well.
Can't erase that.
Yeah.
But just having a great time, come back down, and then we played games, dude. And how much fun did you have? It was interesting because we were considering maybe foregoing the games because we were like, but I would say for me, that was, if not the top, it was top two.
Yeah, dude, it was fun. One of the games that we played was spike ball, and I had never played spike ball. I had seen it, dude, like played in a park, kind of normally by like high school kids or, young, like college kids or something. I was like, this is like a young kids game. Right. And, I was wrong. Like it was a super fun game. I had a ton of fun.
Dude, what I thought was funny is we were playing that. We wrapped up the games. J-Ball, J-Rob, if they're listening, they won. They took over the first ever Festivus games, Storehouse Mastermind Festivus games. So congratulations to you boys. Enjoy it while it lasts, because it's not going to last very long.
Nope. David and I are going to be practicing spike ball.
Dude, every day, every day, practicing constantly. But what's funny is Steven went back to start dinner. He's talking to his wife, and she's like, "Oh, you're by yourself?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm going back." And he said, he told her that, "Yeah, I feel like a dad of a bunch of 10-year-old boys who are like, Dad, can I stay and play?" And that cracked me up, man, because it was true, man. The guys just really, we just bonded. We're having a blast, a bunch of laughs. It was competitive. Dudes were working, man. Like, I don't know about you, but I had grass stains from my shoulders down to my toes just because diving. And, oh man, it was awesome. But I'll tell you another really meaningful thing. One of the guys said, we came back down the mountain. We did Red Rocks, did 2,200 stairs, 9/11 commemoration in an amazing, beautiful place. Again, doing something hard. We went to lunch. And one of the dudes said one of the most meaningful things for him was he just had to show up. And he said, and I was just Matt. I wasn't in my dad role. I wasn't in my work role. I wasn't in any of this. I was just Matt, and you can take it or leave it with a bunch of dudes. This is who I am. And of course everybody took it because Matt is a phenomenal dude. He's hilarious. He's he's kind of quiet, and so I got to know him more on this trip. And he's just an incredible human being, man. Like, never had a doubt, but just to get to know him better and all the guys better in person, because we showed up, and it was awesome.
Yeah, man. I think the point of all this is, you can't just read a book. You can't just look at the data. You can't just, do research. You actually have to show up. You have to do something about it, right? You have to take the action steps that might be a little bit hard or challenging or inconvenient or, costly. You might have to buy a plane ticket and, uh, change up your normal routine. But if you put it as a priority, like it's pretty impactful, and you're not going to really grow in any other way, if you don't show up.
Yeah, man. I mean, and there are sacrifices, right? Like you said, there are quote unquote sacrifices, and even being part of a mastermind, there are, again, quote unquote sacrifices, and whether that's a financial thing, a time thing. But what I can tell you is it's seen as a sacrifice. So before you do it, it's a sacrifice, right? Because you have the data, and you have your thoughts, and you have your biases, and you have your preconceived notions. Once you do it, it's an investment. It's not a sacrifice, it's an investment. And I would dare say that every single dude that showed up to the mountains, not one of them thought they sacrificed. I didn't feel like I sacrificed anything. I made a decision. I prioritized an event. Yes, I missed some kid stuff. Potentially I missed some, reading to kids at night, which are things that are super impactful and powerful. But I also got to go home, and my kids were asking about, hey, was this for the mastermind? And I was like, I didn't know you guys were paying attention. Like, it was the Storehouse Mastermind. And they started asking questions about the guys and the time. And so then I got to share with them how impactful it was, why daddy wants to do things like this, why other men are getting together to be better dads and husbands. And I got to talk through those things, and also got to talk through the importance of prioritization and doing things that are, refill your batteries and build fellowship and all these kind of things. It opened up a conversation that I would not have had if I didn't go. And that's what I want for my kids. I want my kids to be, I would love if my kids were pursuing things they're passionate about, hanging out with, like being very intentional with who they hang out with, surrounding themselves. I mean, what better thing if your kids, they come home and they're like, well, I'm hanging out with Bobby, Johnny, Sally, Susie, whatever. And these kids are quote unquote really good kids, right? It's not the wrong crowd, but to teach them intentionality of who they hang out with at a young age is pretty powerful stuff. And that can be the foundation for lifelong friendships, or at a minimum, a lifelong ability to assess and be intentional with who you surround yourself with, right? Like if you want to take the measure of a man, look at who he hangs out with, right? And I think to instill that into our children is, you have to do that through actions, man. You can't do that it's more impactful that my kids see me go than it is me say, oh, you should hang out with really cool people and read good books. Well, if I never read a good book, or we never go to church, or we never do anything, then like, it doesn't stick, man. You got to show up. You have to do something.
Well, it shows them what you value, right? And you show what you value through the actions that you take. If you value being in good health, well, then you're going to exercise and you're going to eat right. If you value being a good Christian man, then you're going to read the Bible and pray and go to church and be in community and give and tithe. If you value growth and personal development, you're going to take action and show up and go to events like this. You're going to put yourself in a mastermind group. You're going to surround yourself with other amazing humans that are going to lift you up and help you grow. All of that is just leading by example. leading by example through the actions that you take and showing the values that that you hold dear. And if your kids see that, if your wife sees that, that's going to motivate them to show up as well in their own way. And actions speak way louder than words. So I think it's paramount that if you have something that's valuable to you, if you have something that's important to you, you got to go beyond just talking about it.
Yeah, man. And one of the sayings I use a lot at my house is, my kids would come up and they'd be like, man, I wish something, right? Or I want something. And I always say,
I should do something.
Well, no, it should's not so much. It's more the wishes and the wants.
Oh, okay.
And I say, well, you can wish or you can want in one hand and you can poop in the other and see which one fills up first. And but
I've never heard that.
Wishing. You've never heard that?
I've never heard that.
I could have sworn I told you that. I could have sworn you heard me tell that to my kids once or twice. But yeah, they know now too, because I just started. I'm like, hey guys, you can wish, and they're like, yeah, dad in one hand and poop in the other. But really, and it's funny, it makes me laugh. And oftentimes that's the best way to say no to something. But there's also the action, right? Like, I'm not suggesting anybody go out and poop in your hand, but it's very tangible that, hey man, you can wish all you want in this hand, and it's going to be full of the same stuff of dreams and wishes and wants, but you got to do something about it. Like, do something about it. And I think that's a big thing. And also, something that's been hitting me, and I've been thinking about this, and I didn't share this with you, but I've been thinking about it a lot this weekend. There's some things that happened over the weekend that were very impactful to you in a negative way. And it wasn't in one of the few instances that something that doesn't necessarily impact us both. This was one of those situations. But as you kind of walk through it and talk to me about it, like, because I love you and you're my brother, I took it very personally, right? And so I started analyzing that too, because I actually
think you were more angry than I was at first. It was pretty funny.
I think I was. I was very upset, and yeah. But I had a lot of time to think about it too, because that very next morning, I flew to Wisconsin at I got up at 3, headed to the airport, flew to Wisconsin, got out, jumped in a U-Haul with her dad, with my wife's dad, my father-in-law. And then literally from the airport, just started driving back to Colorado and got back yesterday to help him move out here and bring the family closer. And as I thought about it, it made me, I was thinking about why I started thinking about our relationship, and I started thinking about relationships in general and listening to this book and him talking about being vulnerable. And I was like, what is interesting is that without the step of not only showing up, but actually being like, hey, you know what? I really like you. Like, I'd like to hang out. I think you're a great dude. Like, being able to get past that, and it gets easier, right? The more you do it, the easier it gets. But getting past that barrier opens up a door and lifts a weight that I think we carry around a lot. And one of the best ways to get rid of that is to be surrounded by dudes that, well, in our mastermind, that you have no choice, right? Like, you have no option, but those are the ground rules: honesty and vulnerability. Like, if that's not your jam, here's a refund and best of luck. But the dudes have been doing it, and it's been so powerful to get past that hump and watch just the growth. And once you get past that and the relationships grow and it's beautiful, there's also the laughter, dude. The laughter is it's constant. It's constant, especially if you choose a best friend like I have. Like, I have 2 guys that are like my guys, you and Mike Cheney. Yeah. And I spend more time laughing at both of you than
on our behalf
than I deserve. On your behalf. Behalf.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it makes me feel really good. Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I love you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks,
Mikey, man. If you're listening, I love you.
So don't be surprised if, David, for the first time, he meets you and he just, pours out his vulnerability and just asks if you want to be his friend, and he gives you hugs, and he's very touchy-feely. So don't be alarmed by that. Just go with it.
Right? Embrace it.
Embrace it.
Yeah. Just go with it.
Just show up and just go with it.
Best thing you can do.
Yeah.
It's the best thing you can do is go with it, because resistance is pretty futile. There's some big dudes.
It just makes it way more awkward if you start to resist. It
doesn't make it awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some big dudes in our circle, and you know, all that's big, the size and the strength. When you're within a hug,
yeah,
dude, it's hard to, you're done. It's really hard to get in there and you know, to not embrace the love. So just embrace it. No, man, it's good. You know, so my encouragement, you know, we're super pumped. We're opening the doors again, November 1st for new houses in the Storehouse Mastermind. And I'll tell you, you know, this isn't, it's very interesting how this evolves in at least in my mind. Initially, you're nervous when you start something, you have all this pressure to provide value, and you're like, oh man, I hope this is good, and we're charging for it. And so, you know, are people that want to pay money and do this thing? And, you know, you have all this doubt, and then you do it and it gets better and better. And the quality of dudes is just super high. And now I feel sorry for anybody who's not in the Storehouse Mastermind. Like it's come full circle, right? Like I think there's so much beauty and power in it that I think every man that's not part of it is missing out. I genuinely do. And I think that there's something magical, and it's been confirmed through our through the Zoom calls, and then through the like dudes literally missing work. They're like, hey man, I'm about to go tell my boss a fib. I can't log on. I'm going to tell him I can't log on to the Zoom call because I don't want to come out of this call right now, which is awesome. And then the guys that showed up, you know, one guy got COVID, and one guy was like, I so want to be there. And they couldn't, and you could see it. You could feel it. They just felt like they just missed out because they knew, right? They just knew that it was an amazing time. And so I would encourage you, if you're desiring to be a part of an amazing group of men, I mean, this is it. Like, this is a place that I can absolutely guarantee you're going to grow, which is super important. You're going to be challenged, and heaven forbid, you're going to have a lot of fun.
I mean, and another perk is that you get really awkward, like, bear hugs from David. It's kind of weird. It's kind of awkward. It's uncomfortable at first, but again, if you just show up and just go with it, like, you'll probably enjoy it. I mean,
yeah, but you settled into it. Like, you embrace it.
Man. I mean, I'm used to it by now. So
it's only been like 20, 25 years. But yeah.
No, that's good. Super pumped. Storehouse Mastermind. We're going to open up some more houses November 1st. Guys can apply right now. I mean, you can go to our website, storehouse310.com/mastermind, and hit the join now button. There's an application on there. Fill that out, and we're going to start opening it up. So excited about it, man. Like, tons of growth, tons of amazing dudes. We're going to do more retreats with a similar style, similar feel, maybe different locations. It's going to be rad, man. So you just got to show up.
There's no doubt. Show up. No excuses. You want to be better? Hey, it's a great place to start.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it. Let's go get the mountains. And my goal, dude, honestly, and I'm not just saying this like because it was so unexpected for me. It wasn't in any way, like I said, I was doing the dishes, man. But I would love to be surrounded by a bunch of dudes who get to a place where they're just like, man, I love my life.
Yeah.
I love my life.
Yeah.
And I think that's the goal. Is life is too short to not, right? There's plenty of time to for regret. Why not just fill that time with fulfillment and fellowship and fun? And so that's what I always say. I just said for the first
if you do want to do like a little bit of research and kind of look into like what we're talking about, all this, like the loneliness and stuff like that, the book that David was referring to is a book with the title "We Need to Hang Out." and the author is Billy Baker. We're going to try to get him on our podcast, so I'm not going to talk too much about the book. I'll put it in the show notes, but read that. Like, it's a great read. And then go to the Storehouse 310.com/mastermind and apply, because it's going to be awesome.
It already is awesome. You've already missed out. You're already missing out. You're missing out already. So.
All right, friend.
All right, man. Hey, I love you.
Fist bumps. Love you too. High fives and French fries.
French fries. All right, man.
See you.
See you. Thanks for listening to Filling the Storehouse. If you enjoyed our show, please subscribe and share it with someone you love. And if you really felt inspired, leave a 5-star review so we can continue to grow and help other Christian entrepreneurs fill their storehouse. If you're interested in creating financial freedom through real estate investing, be sure to check out our website at storehouse310turnkey.com. We'd love to serve you through our platform of building the kingdom. Just click on the contact link and we'll reply to you as soon as we can. Again, thanks so much for listening. Now go for your storehouse and make it a great day.